to do a serious one.
Yeah.
So joining you live from the World Championship 2023 in Barcelona, the Living Legend podcast.
Let us crack into another one. Hello and welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Living Legends podcast. I am Bill from the Spike Feeders and also from the Living Legends podcast. And joining me, as always, are my two lovely co-hosts. We have, let's go alphabetical with Az.
Yeah, this is another one of our sort of three quickfire living. Well, we say quickfire. The last one that you would have seen last week or heard last week was a little bit longer than we anticipated. But hopefully this one might be a little bit more quicker. But it's because Kel at this precise moment in time is traveling. But yeah, I'm Maz from Going Gaming and got joined by Mr. Red Zone Rogue as well, who's currently in Japan.
Actually, at the time of this posting, it'll be the 15th. I will be in Japan. I will be in Shinjuku in Tokyo. I have what I did for that is I'm leaving on the 14th, and just because of the way things work, I will be arriving on the 15th. And then I gave myself like a buffer day, right? So like the 16th will be my buffer day, and then the event starts on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. And hey, if you haven't already, go follow me on like social media and stuff. I'll be posting a lot of stuff from the event and from Japan in general. And yeah.
By the way, a vlog for this one, do you think? Or
yeah, I probably will do another. Well, it'll be like an overall Japan vlog because I'm going to Japan for some other reasons, and just incidentally, the part the Missville event is happening like a week before I was going to be going to Japan, and I was like, this is perfect timing. I can like do it all. I can do it all as it were. So. It'll be like I'm there for 10 days basically. So it'll be great, and different parts of Japan too, like different parts of Tokyo rather. So I'm gonna be more in like the Shinjuku or maybe Shibuya area, right? So yeah, last time I was in Akihabara. I'm gonna be going back to Akihabara for sure because the place is like paradise. And specifically, I want to note I will be going to Akihabara. I'm going to the Radio Kaikon building, and I'm going back to Yellow Submarine, and I'm trying to find that old box of Japanese cards that, like, I couldn't remember what they were, and I tried for hours to figure out what the game is. If you're in my Discord, you know the saga of me trying to figure out what the hell this game was, and I regret not buying it. Anyway. So
just wild tangent aside before we go on to our main topic for today. I saw a post from someone from Yellow Submarine on Twitter recently. It was I think it was must have been their ProQuest. Yeah, it was their ProQuest because someone won with Azalea in Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine's an awesome store, man. They have a bunch of them in Akihabara. I'm sure a bunch of them in other places. It's a tabletop store, right? They have board games, card games. I think they have like Gun Plus stuff. It's a great time, great store. It's the Yellow Submarine in the Radio Kaikon building, I think, is the highest store in that building, and it's got like 20 stores or something. It's 20 stories. But yeah, Yellow Submarine's cool.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I saw that earlier today.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that. That's what I'm doing. Probably not literally right now. I'm probably like sleeping or something. But yeah, we got a fun episode. Bill, do you want to tell everyone about it?
Absolutely, yes. So in the theme of Kel moving around the globe, we're bringing back an old one, just for so just to have some fun on this one. For longtime listeners of the channel, you might remember we once did an episode where we sort of ranked, like very loosely ranked, all of the heroes in Flesh and Blood on how likely they are to help you move, which I think is a pretty fun exercise. The most, I think the easiest example to sort of get my explanation of this sort of across is, I think that Azalea would help you move, but she would be like either a little bit snarky about it the whole time, or you would have to pay her, and then she'd be like fine with it.
Yeah.
I think she'd complain. I think Azalea would be a complainer. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be there, sort of moving things around and making sort of gestures like, "I don't want to be here, but I'm just here to help you." You know, probably out of the goodness of her own heart, but you
But she
can
would
tell
never
that.
admit that.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
And
But,
I think it depends
absolutely.
on how much she likes you too. Like if you're like her best
Yeah.
friend, she's gonna be there. She might not even complain, right? But if you're just kind of like a friend, she might be there and also complain and being like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like on the sort of other end, I think that Arachne would help you move and do it very efficiently, but you would need to pay them.
yes, oh yes,
Like,
yeah,
I think that
100%.
they wouldn't say anything. They would be like totally silent the whole time. They do it
absolutely.
really well, but then like
Yeah.
the second that you're done, they're gone.
Arachne
gone.
is
On to the next job straight away.
yeah. No, Arachne is literally the flesh and blood equivalent of paying a mover to move for you. That's what Arachne is. You pay them, and then they will move your stuff. Otherwise, they are not doing a damn thing, right? Nothing. Like
Absolutely.
you have to pay them, or they're not doing anything.
They're a consummate professional. You try to make any sort of like conversation with them, just nothing, just a brick wall.
You might get a like a or like a yeah.
Or like a oh damn, that's crazy. Like a totally non-conversational response.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
But Benji, let's be honest.
Oh.
Benji would just be excited to be there. You know, probably not doing a great job, probably dropping things and tripping over himself, but just happy to be there. You know,
you give Benji
one in there.
You give Benji like the small stuff, and maybe sometimes he's like, "Hey, I want to help move the couch," and you're like, "Nah, Benji, Bravo's gonna help us move the couch. You can go get like a chair or something, like an actual just like small chair, and you can do that."
Yeah.
Benji would be so excited to just be invited and just be there, and then like have a juice box afterwards, you know?
Yeah, it would be like Benji and Katsu, and then Katsu's telling Benji what to do. And
exactly.
Katsu's like, Katsu's there, and he's like, he's business, right? I feel like Katsu's there, and he's like, we're gonna get this done, like because we have to, right? Like reluctant, but he's gonna do it, and he's gonna be like, all right, Benji, you grab these, I'll grab this, and you know, we'll tag team it.
You're like ready to go, boss.
Yeah.
Then next up in the list we have Betsy. I think that Betsy absolutely would help you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the payment is beer, or ale of some variety,
or not just payment, beer on site, like drinking the beer while moving. That's moving. Yeah, that's Betsy. Like you have like a water, you have like a cooler.
Yeah,
a couple of broken things here and there because you know she's a little bit tipsy, and also like tries to also bet how quickly she can do things because you know she's always wanting to wager. She's like, but I could move that couch in 5 minutes. You're like, no way, Betsy.
Yeah, see,
and suddenly it's on a shoulder like this, just walking out. Way.
I think Az has it like 100%. Betsy's the person who helps you move, but like will end up damaging several of your things, either out of competitiveness or just kind of like not paying a lot of attention, or because she's drunk. Like she's the kind where like you're moving the couch and you just bash it into the wall on accident or something. Like
it's doing things but not doing them carefully. I think is extremely accurate. Although like coming up next with Bolton, I don't think that Bolton would help you move. I think that he has other things to worry about. I don't know. For some reason, I get the vibe that Bolton would not help you move.
He has to work. You know, he's duty-bound man. You know,
I think
he's bound to Solana. He's got to do some prayers or something. Like I don't know. He's doing. Maybe it's part of service though.
I think he would help some people move, but unless you're those people, he's probably not going to help you. I think if you're family, he's going to help you, and I think he's going to help you, and he's going to do it very well, and he's going to put time aside because you're family, and he cares about your family. Like, I think he's that kind of person where he's like, you know, very duty bound and honor bound. And he's like, you know, you're my family.
Yeah, I think,
you know, my brother, sister, parent, or whatever, he's going to be there for you. But if you're like a coworker, no way. Like,
Nah, there's an excuse. Yeah.
Just for some reason, I don't know why I get that vibe. I mean, I think it's because of his adult art as well, where he's sort of walking down a path of that's sort of decorated by these like foot soldiers and stuff. Like, I think that he's too high up in the like royal order to really like have the time to help you move. But if you're like part of the royal order or like somebody who's, like you said, close to him, I think that he probably would. But for the random common person, I don't think he would give you the time of day.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Bravo would, and he would be challenging Betsy to who can lift the couch above their head with one hand.
I think not only Bravo would, I think he'd be like one of the best movers, right? He's big, he's strong. I think he's like energetic, and I think he'd be just gung ho and be like he'd be the best person there. Like, he's the one guy you really want to ask because he also has like the pickup truck, right? And he's gonna like
absolutely
like he's gonna like lift the couch by himself and take it, and that's why you ask him. You're like, he's strong. He wants to prove that he's strong. He's like thinks of it as a workout, and it's great. It's like best. It's the best person to ask.
And he's like showing off how good he can be at helping you out. But
so it's like entertainment at the same time. You know, Bravo as well. The thing about Bravo is that he's used to wearing fridges, right? He wears them on a day-to-day basis because he has a big fridge, and therefore he is an absolute master at navigating fridges through like doors and stuff. So,
you're like hey, Bravo, you need help with that fridge? And he's like, no, I got it. He just lifts it up and then just walks it out.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes. I also like the mental image of Bravo canonically driving an F-350. That feels accurate.
Dude's
Although
got a
conversely, absolutely he does.
Yeah.
Conversely, I feel like Bravo star of the show would not. I think that he's too full of himself to help you out. I think that he has too much self-importance.
All right, yeah.
I think that he thinks too highly of himself to do anything other than what he thinks is fun, and I don't think that helping you move is fun to him.
I'm gonna meet you halfway. I'm gonna say I think you're right, but I think it's because he won't like respond to your texts or messages or anything because he's too busy doing his like his show, right? And then he'll look at it and he'll be like, oh well, like
oh damn, like he wouldn't apologize to you if he missed your text message,
or he wouldn't. It would be like 2 days after, and he'd be like, oh sorry, I was busy, like the show, I was really busy with the show.
Or if Bravo turns up, he's one of those people that's there, like live streaming on his phone to show everybody that he's helping. He's taking selfies saying, oh, I've moved this for my mate. He's just showing off the fact and telegraphing the fact that he's there.
How's it going? It's your boy Bravo here at my best mate's place, and we're gonna be moving today. And then he doesn't move. He just continues to stream.
No, Bravo is absolutely an influencer.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Oh, brilliant.
No, that's I'm glad we can all agree on that. And then I think the next one is pretty cut and dry. Brevant, Civic Protector, just would. Just like he would to help you out.
He seems like he seems like a bro, right? Like you're like, hey Brevant, you want to help me move? And he's like, yeah, sure. Can we get pizza afterwards? And he'd be like, yeah, let's do it. And then you just
the nicest guy. Yeah.
I think that Brevant will help you move and have no negative things to say about the entire process. I think that he'd just be like, yep.
I think not only that is he'd also be like, hey, should we invite our other friend? Like, I think he'd be like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Well, look at his art. He's got all of his friends behind him that are coming to help you move. If you haven't seen the art, Brevant turns up with a big squad of people behind him for free to help you move.
I don't know why, but he gives me like very big like college roommate buddy type vibes. Like, so he's just like, yeah, sure. Like, he's there. He's gonna do it. Yeah.
And I feel like you wouldn't even have to know Brevant very well either. I think that he would help anybody move. Yeah, just be like, oh yeah, like go talk to Brevant. Like he's really good with this.
I think like, you're moving your stuff into your dorm, and he lives in the dorm, and he sees this, and he's like, he'll volunteer to help. Like, he doesn't even know you yet, and you're moving stuff into the dorm. He's like, oh, you need help with that? I got you. And then he'll like grab the other side of the couch, and
absolutely.
So yeah, Brevant extremely selfless, and I think again flipping right to the other end of the spectrum, I think that Briar is so selfish and would not help you move. I think that she would insult you for asking.
I think she might, but it's one of those situations where you'd have to like beg her, right? Like she eventually
You'd have to
might
for
if
a
she
really
really
good
likes you.
reason.
If she really likes you, she might. But it's like she's only gonna help her like one friend that she's super close with, like, and that's like that's it, man. Like,
Other than that,
apart from that, she's just climbing mountains in her spare time. She hasn't got the time to help people move sofas. She's climbing Mount Heroic. She's on hikes. She's really active.
She also, it's funny, like you're like she's active, but she also feels like to me like the kind of person who like needs to go outside and take a smoke, like right now. Like, for whatever reason, she's like, I just need to go right now, and she just leaves.
Yeah. Because something about Briar's design, and I don't think she would be the type of person to if you asked, like, she wouldn't ghost you. She would like tell you no and be like very firm about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have a hero that I actually forgot about because this is one of the judge heroes, but Brutus Summarudus.
The hell is Brutus?
Where is this guy?
I just like looked up on February just all of the heroes. And Brutus comes up.
He's not even
another adjudicator hero.
I'm looking at the official Flesh and Blood website on their list. He's not even on their website. Yeah.
Well, I think the other adjudicator heroes probably aren't either. Because these are all like the judge promo or whatever.
Yeah, none of them are. It goes from Briar to Chain. Yeah. Okay.
But because I'm going off this list, and judge heroes deserve some love too. Brutus Summarudus, I think that he would be the type of person to agree to help you move, but he would just be telling people that they're doing things wrong. Like he's like, for people who haven't seen his art and don't know about the hero, he's holding this big scroll and he has this trumpeting horn to like amplify his decrees or whatever. So I think he would be the type of person to just like be annoying and supervise, but like not in an effective way. Just be like, I know how you need to move, so I'm going to tell you. And it's like,
he's just standing there shouting, pivot, pivot, pivot.
Yeah, the type of person that loves to tell people what to do, but doesn't like doing things himself. And so it's like the person that would volunteer to help you move, but that you would decline his help.
He would. I think he would physically help, but only after he gets frustrated because you're not doing it right. He'll be like, fine, let me do it. Like that's. I pulled up the image, by the way, for everyone who doesn't know who Brutus is. So here's Brutus.
So for everybody who doesn't know about Brutus, here you go. Here's your introduction. And then moving on to the next one, Chain, I think would, but I think he would complain. Like I think he would. Yeah. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I have very specific vibes for Chain. So I think you would not even ask Chain unless you're already friends with him and already know that he's going to say yes. Like I have a feeling Chain's the kind of guy that like
very intimidating.
Like he's in your band and you're going to ask him because he's in your band and he's your guy, right? But if he's not your guy, you're not talking to him at all. Yeah, you're not even gonna. You don't even have his number. You are like he's that weird guy at the end of the hall, like who has there's like weird smells and like screaming music from his place all the time. But if you know him, like he's like your guy, right? And he's gonna help and he's gonna do a good job, I think, actually.
Nailed that one. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I like that one more. That he's just like the weird guy that is kind of the last resort, unless you already know about him.
Yeah, and then like you're also a weird person too. If you know him, you're in the same group. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then we have Dash. We also have Dash IO. Do we figure that they have the type of difference like Bravo versus Starvo? Or do you think it's probably like approximately the same? Because to me, I think that it's approximately the same. So feels like the same personality.
I feel like they're probably pretty close to the same. So like lore wise, I think Dash IO is Dash plus Data Doll. I think that's what happened in the lore. They kind of like Ghost in the Shelled her into Dash.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I think so, yeah.
I think that's what it is. But I still think they would do the same thing. In fact, I think they'd be pretty close, like pretty similar. I think, yeah.
Maybe just wrap
And
it
Dash-
into one then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dash to me is the person that would bring the moving straps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
More
bring
prepared.
ways to make the moving easier. Like yeah, like she would be extremely prepared to help you move.
She'd have the plan. For sure.
Yeah.
And she would also be the one
she's,
who's like, you need to put it there to optimize the placement in the truck.
Yes.
Like it needs to go in this specific orientation to
yeah.
fit it in, and then it's gonna be like
yeah.
perfect, and it's all just gonna fit in one spot, like clockwork, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not
Extremely-
like one of those. Not like one of those people that just chuck things in the back of the car. She has
No.
to place it meticulously so that you're maximizing the space.
see-
Absolutely, yeah.
See, Bravo is helping you. He's great, but he's just putting it in the first spot that it's there, right? He
Yeah,
takes the
he's
couch.
just tossing it in.
Couch
Yeah.
is just there. Boom. Puts it in, goes back, gets something else. And then Dash is the one who's like, all right, we're going to have to put this in the right spot. Otherwise, none of the stuff's
Yeah.
going to fit in at the end. Yeah.
Betsy chucking the cupboard in and breaking the front window.
Yeah.
and all
Betsy
that.
doesn't
absolutely.
even bring it to the, like, she like just throws it in. Yeah.
Yeah, just like Caber tosses it into the truck and
Yeah.
then goes to get the next thing.
Next. Yeah.
Yeah, and then speaking of next, Datadol would because you asked her to, and she's just like a virtual assistant.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, so that one's I think pretty easy.
As a robot though, she looks pretty like she doesn't look super strong. She looks kind of frail. So I don't know what like if she could actually lift that much.
She doesn't
Yeah.
look strong. She's not particularly smart either. She's a 3 intellect. But so she just like does what you tell her to do.
You give her-
and like
Okay,
that's to a fault I was going to say that's to a fault as well. Like one of the things that you learn in computer programming is when you program something, the program will do exactly what you tell it to and
Yeah.
not what you intended to tell it
it'll
to
do. She will do literally what you say, and you're gonna be like, okay, Datadol, go grab those like bags, maybe they have clothes or something in them, and then you take them to the truck. And she literally will take them and set them right next to the truck, and then walk back. And she won't even take it
Yeah.
into it, or she won't give it to Dash. She's just like,
truck.
and then comes back. Yep.
Takes everything literally. Like Datadol, move the couch. She just moves it forward a meter, and that's it.
Yeah. Just shoves it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, then.
Both Dorinthia and Dorinthia Quicksilver Prodigy, I think, are also pretty much the same, and I think that they would. I think that sort of similar to like Brevant, you could just ask her, and she would just be like, "Yeah, I will help you." She feels very magnanimous in that regard. Maybe not like incredibly peppy about it, but like also you just like. She seems positive in general about it. Like she's not doing it begrudgingly. She's like, yeah, I'll help you move.
I think she'd be there. She'd be there. She'd be helpful.
Yeah, without much to say in either regard.
Yeah.
Droma is a weird one for me to place. I personally don't think that she would.
I think if she was allowed to bring her dog with her, she would. She
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Can I bring the dog? Yes. All right, Droma. You can bring your pet. AKA
Dromai
Dragon.
Fine.
does feel very extra.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
The next one, unfortunately, is very easy. The Emperor cannot help you move, as he is dead.
He's dead.
I mean, even if he wasn't dead, he's not helping you. Like,
No, he's super
No.
not helping you.
like it's the easiest like no on the list. Like if Bravo's like the easiest yes, Emperor is the easiest no. He's not helping you, man. Like
No,
no shot.
Yeah,
like even if you're
absolutely not.
family, he's not helping you.
it's like asking the mayor of your town or the president of the United States to help you move. They're just like, no, like
No.
Not only
wouldn't-
that, he would be offended that you asked. Like
Yes,
he would be like,
absolutely yes.
he'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really asking me to do this? Like,
I for Enigma, I don't know that she would, but I think the reason why is because she has like crunchy granola things to do. For some reason she feels like, like I'm sorry, I woke up this morning and like my chakras weren't aligned.
Yeah.
I agree. I think she eventually, I think in the end she would help you, but I don't think she'd be very helpful, right?
Yeah.
Like she'd be just kind of
I mean,
like wispy, just kind of there, but like not really doing much until you tell her to do it, and even then she probably doesn't do a great job. Like,
yeah, and she's one of those. I reckon she probably would help if the stars aligned. Like if if it was the Taurus's month to help help someone move this day, she would check all the horoscopes before she made a decision. I think that's probably what would be.
And like even when she's there, she's not the person you ask to move the armoire, right? Like it's just like she's just kind of there.
Yeah.
She'll hang out with you afterwards. She'll go to the bar with you afterwards, but after not super
you
helpful.
can move this like this basket of like cleaning supplies that I had.
Yeah.
She'll be like, okay.
she even might be like the person who's like just kind of randomly cleaning up after, just kind of there, kind of like doing odd things, her own stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, this is what I need to do to help you cleanse your space.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Moving on to Fi, I think that young Fi would. I don't think that old Fi would. I don't think that Fi Rising Rebellion would, or if he does, he would be like, he would either have something else that he's doing that day. He's just always like consistently busy, or if he is helping you, I feel like he would just complain a lot.
So my take
by something.
Yeah,
it's funny how I categorize a lot of these people in terms of like. So like Chain, I'm like, I think of him as like a bandmate because he reminds me of people I know. And Fi's similar, but Fi is like more on like the punk side of things. And he might also be more of like the, he's just kind of like abrasive as a person. And you're like, I'm not even going to ask him. Like, I'm like, he's just going to be like not pleasant. I think young Fi would be Benji, but who also breaks stuff on accident. Like young Fi is like Benji, but he also is like careless and breaks your shit.
Fi and Benji would be hanging out the whole time.
Yeah, they would be doing like trying to do like jump flips off of the couch instead of moving it, and like play fighting and doing like kamehamehas and stuff. Like that's what they would be doing.
Absolutely they would. Genus is too old and likely running the store, so you probably can't take a day off.
Genus would like 1,000,000% say yes, but he would be almost useless, right?
Yes.
He would be like, sure, I'd love to help you. And then maybe he's the driver or something. Like, I don't know. Like he'll be there for you, but he's so old that I don't know.
Genius is there, right? He comes along and it's like, right, okay, what do you want with this cupboard? Okay, have you ever used this cupboard? Okay, all right then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it away and I'm going to go to a yard sale. And he's the guy that's running. He's running the yard sale. He's taking all of your belongings that you never need and he's selling them off for extensive profit because he is a merchant.
Yeah,
that's true.
He's asking you like, how attached are you to this bed?
Exactly. Yeah, just trying to make the most out of every single item.
Yeah,
but
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ira, I think Ira would. Ira, for some reason, feels similar to, almost similar to Brevant, where it's like you ask her to help and then she shows up with help. Like, okay, here's a couple dudes that like just will help, and she'll be like pretty quiet about it, I think. But I think ultimately she would help you. She feels pretty loyal, so I think if you know her, she would like be extremely helpful. She would very much help you move.
I also
at the same time, I think that before you go into yours, Cal, I think she would. I think she would quietly be expecting some form of payment as she stands there with her arms crossed. After the job is done, maybe she doesn't want to ask for payment, but she expects something. I feel.
Yeah,
well.
I was feeling similar vibes. I was gonna say like, you probably wouldn't ask her unless you kind of knew what you're getting into, right? Like, she's not just like your pal that you're just gonna ask. She's not like, I feel like you're both on the similar.
I think so. Yeah.
Almost getting closer to Arachne than others. Like like she's there to do a job, kind of thing.
Yeah, she's contracted to be here. But Icelander, I don't think Icelander would. I'm getting a very holier than thou vibe from Icelander. I think she's the type of person that might ghost you if you asked.
Maybe. I'm trying to think about her in like the story, and she's just kind of like trying to find herself, as it were.
Yeah, I think she sort of reads your message. You get 2 blue ticks on WhatsApp, and she don't never get a response. I think she is like Phil
Right.
saying, she's
Yeah, I
quite
think Icelander
ghosting.
leaves you unread.
Yeah, that's right.
I kind of think so too. If
Really cold, cold and hard shoulder sort of style thing.
who's the other character? Yeah. So Briar. If Briar's the type to like not help you, but then respond like a day after and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it" or something. Icelander never responds. Like
Exactly. That is bang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I get sort of the same vibe from Kano. I think that he's too important to help you move.
I think wizards are
I
just
also don't
kind of
think he would be
all the
particularly
wizards
useful.
are just kind of dicks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe that's my own bias, my own playing bias coming through.
I think not only would Kano do that, but you wouldn't even ask him because you know he's going to be a pain in the ass. Even if he did, even if he showed up, you know he would be insufferable, and you're like, he would complain the whole time or just whine and like you don't, or just being like, why aren't you doing it this way? Why did you do it even better? Like. Yeah.
And you're like, God, Kano, shut up. And then he's like, blazing ether.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like
Wildfire.
kind of like that sort of Brutus vibe where he's trying to tell you everything that you need to be doing and in what order, but he doesn't cave and doesn't help you at all. Whereas Brutus probably would in the end.
Yeah. I feel like Brutus would tell you what to do, but he would do it in a way that actually gets the job done. Kano would do that. It would probably get the job done, but everyone would hate him at the end. Like Yeah,
Kano tells you the way that he does it, and not the way that it should be done. Like not considering context or anything. He's just like, oh well, I put my dishes in this cupboard actually, and you're like, God, I don't care.
I don't care.
The vibes I get from Kano, he's the type of dude to like mansplain like everything. Like that's the vibes I get from Kano.
Yeah, just like pretending, not pretending, but acting as if you're stupid and he's not all the time.
Oh, 100%.
Very condescending. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think Kasai is absolutely in it only for the pizza and beer. Very much payment based. They need the remuneration or whatever that word is.
Remuneration.
Remuneration. Means payment.
Yeah,
is what I'm
it's like
saying.
kind of like you ask her like do you want to help me move, and she's like, okay, what are we doing afterwards, sort of thing.
Yeah. Very much goal oriented. Like if I do this, what's in it for me, sort of deal.
Or like or she'll expect you to help her move when she needs to move, like, and she's not just being like expected as a friend, like really expect it. Like I helped you need to help me now, kind of deal.
Very much so. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense with her, with the fact that she's like a sellsword. She is like straight up just a hired hand sort of deal. So, I think that makes a lot of sense.
I think that, but she doesn't own her own moving business. She's got other things that she's doing. But if she's helping you, she's expected you to help her later. Yeah.
Katsu is your father that is helping you move.
Yeah, exactly.
that's the vibe I get. He's your dad.
Like I said earlier, he would be there with Benji and he'd be telling Benji what to do, and Benji would be like, very enthusiastic, and Katsu would be like pretty chill about it. I think he's like I think he's the kind of like steady voiced individual that he's just kind of like, I think he'd be.
Yeah, but you're happy. You're happy that he's there, but he's brought Benji as well. It's just like, okay, I'm glad you're here, Katsu, but why have you brung Benji with you? For goodness' sake.
Yeah. You don't say that because
you're a sitter. You
never tell him that because that would be rude. But yes, you're thinking that the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cavdane, I think, sits in a much more greedy spot than somebody like Kasai would, where he expects payment, but he expects dollars. He expects like actual
cash.
Like dollars, cash in his hand, in order to help. Otherwise, he's just
So Cavdane to me is like Chain, but no one will ask him, not even his buddies. Like you're not asking Cavdane to help you move, like.
Yeah,
and like, if you do, it's like it feels like
he's like, you're gonna pay me $20? You're gonna pay me $50?
Like
no.
Yeah, and if you do, it feels like you're going to like an extortionist or like the black market or something. Like whereas like Chain's like the weird guy, but you're also the weird guy, and your buddies. You're not buddies with Cavdane. Even if you're the weird guy, like Cavdane is like the very weird guy who like who like dissects dead birds and stuff. Like you like
Yeah.
he's like you're
Yeah,
like
he's-
is that guy a serial killer? Like maybe?
Yeah,
Like
everybody steers clear.
like yeah.
Yeah, I think that KO in both forms are probably the person that you don't ask because they would say yes and they would break your stuff
Yes.
more than Betsy does.
Yes.
Very
And
much so.
Betsy does it in like a fun way, like on accident.
Yeah, like enthusiastically.
KO doesn't do it on purpose, but he still does it because like he doesn't care. Like he's just like,
Yeah.
all right, let's move it. Bam. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's so strong that things just break, and when you try to call him out on it, he just doesn't pay. He just doesn't care. He's
Or
like,
or he'd get really offended. Like
yeah,
he's like, you asked me to move. That's what I'm doing. Like
And then he ends up
Yeah.
smashing something else because he's angry, and
yeah.
it's a cascade.
He gets mad at you, and then he breaks your armoire again. Like
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that Levia would maybe not. I don't know. I don't know that Levia would, and also she feels like she would just be uncomfortable to be around. she's probably like very intense person.
Agreed.
Kind of like Chain. Obviously, like they're shadows, so I think they're both. Like I think it's funny that I find them both like very intimidating and maybe like intense. But yeah, I don't know, something about Levia. I just don't think that she would help. I don't think that she would want to be there.
I think maybe this is because I've known people like this. I think she would probably help if she really, really likes you. But even then, she doesn't want to be there for sure.
Yeah,
like she'll help you begrudgingly, but only if you're her best friend, and only and still be like kind of like not pleasant about it.
Yeah, so it's similar to sort of Azalea vibes. If you're
Yeah.
if you're on the same sort of level as her, she'll help, but she'll sort of be like, "Oh, why am I doing this? Why am I here?" Sort of
Exactly.
yeah.
not telling you directly, but showing it as such, all tentacles flowing and all this.
Yeah, for sure.
Lexi's a weird one.
I
What do you
I
reckon? What do you reckon,
think-
Kel? You know Lexi.
I think
Yeah.
Lexi would help for sure. I think Lexi would. But once again, I think she's the kind of person that you would only ask if you're like her sorority sister or something. Like you wouldn't even if you're just like a casual acquaintance or something, you're not even approaching Lexi because you have a feeling she's just gonna say no or turn you down. And but if you're like, her sister, like her sorority sister or whatever, you're asking her because she's like your best friend. And she's gonna help and she's gonna do a good job, and you're gonna go get like boba tea afterwards or something.
I feel like Lexi is potentially the type of person that would agree if you asked her, but her quality of work scales dramatically with how close you are to her. Like you're saying,
yeah.
if it's her sister or somebody that like one of her best friends or whatever, I think she does a really good job. I think she would probably show up to somebody who like reached out to her to ask, but she wouldn't do quite as well. She would just kind of be sitting around the periphery, like, being there just because she wanted to say yes to something.
Yeah, it's like in the corner, like sort of texting on the phone. You'd be like, "Oh, you helping with this sofa? Yeah, hold on a second." Text.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
just a little bit too
kind of disconnected.
a little
from
bit too
it
important.
almost.
Yeah, exactly. On the exact opposite end, I feel like Max would help you and be extremely enthusiastic about it. For some reason, I can see him like showing up, like you ask him and he's like already at your front door. He has like specific like moving overalls or coveralls or something, like brought
Power
his own
tools
beer,
and-
power tools. Yeah.
I'm
absolutely.
forming this like flesh and blood band in my head as we go, and Max shows up with Chain, right? And Chain's like a little bit more like, ho hum, and then Max is like raring to go, right? You asked Max because he's like part of your crew, and you're like, he's gonna be there, he's gonna help, he's gonna be enthusiastic. Whereas like, Chain's gonna be there and he's just gonna be a little bit like, all right, man, I'm here. What are we doing?
It's
And
like Max just like turns up.
He's like, let's
And
go.
he's just like, yeah, can't wait to do this. Oh, we're gonna move this really quickly. I brought my mate Chain with me as well, and he's just like.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, yeah, get that vibe as well. And he's also like trying to build. He's having a bit of fun. He's like building like these forts as well that that are in the. He's making
He's like, yo,
fun
dude, check
sculptures.
this out. Yeah.
Max is one of the people that's helping out the most, and also looking after the kids, Benji.
Absolutely.
And Fi.
You might
Like,
even be like
he's-
he might even be like playing with them a little bit. He'll do a flip off the couch as well.
He's the one that's like entertaining them and trying to keep them from breaking things.
He'll see the kids doing like like tricks and stuff off the couch, and he'll be like, "Yo, check this one out," and he'll like try to like one up them and show how cool he is. Yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that Melody would be there, but she would be the person that brings the tunes. Like just brings
Absolutely.
like her own speaker and whatever,
Yes.
and is just on aux the entire time.
I think so.
But it has
Yeah,
to be
that one-
it has to be her speaker. It has to be her Spotify
Yeah.
playlist. Nobody
Yeah.
else's, because her taste in music is better than everybody else's apparently,
Yeah.
and she needs to play her songs.
It feels
but,
like a gimme on that one because obviously she's the bard, but I don't know. That feels
Exactly.
accurate to me.
I mean, the other
so.
vibes that I get from her, she seems pretty like cheery. I don't think she'd like
Yeah.
complain. Like I think she'd be fine, to be honest.
I think that she'd be really a positive force to have around, but I do agree with Az in that I think she would be particular. She would still be
Yeah.
like, like here, like I put this playlist together specifically for moving, and she'd be like really, really excited about it and be like, these are the songs that we're gonna play.
I also don't think she looks like the kind of person who would like hustle. Like I think like, and by that I mean like work quickly. I think she'd be just kind of like mid to low helpful, like not super helpful, not the worst, but like middling.
Good for morale.
Yeah,
Very
she's,
good for morale. I think.
she's helping, but she's
Yeah.
not like rared up and ready to go. Right? She's just kind of like, oh, I'll move this
she
here.
manages to get like a smile out of Chain because a death metal song comes on, and he's just like, "This is great."
No,
And then,
Chain would be like, he'd go up to him and be like, you've got good taste, or something like that. He would just be like,
yeah,
like, or he'd even be backhanded and be like, I didn't think you'd had such good taste, or something like that.
exactly, yeah.
Oh my god.
So-
I think that new would help you, but your silverware would start going missing. I think that she
she's
would
gonna
steal
steal?
things from you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, quite the
She'd be really
opportunist.
sneaky about it. Yeah, but I think she would steal things from you.
Only if you have
Yeah.
really nice silverware, though. Like if it was just
Yes,
like
I think she's
whatever,
discerning.
she's not touching the garbage, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be like, man, I thought I had 5 steak knives, but now I only have 3.
Yeah.
Oh, where did those beautiful china plates go? It must have lost in the
Yeah.
move. And then News just like,
Yeah. Well, no, and she would be subtle about it. She wouldn't steal all of the china. She'd steal like one plate, and you're like, didn't we have 6 plates? Why do we only have 5 plates? What happened to the other plate?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
sneaky, very stealthy. Love it.
Yeah. I think that Oldhim and Katsu would hang out and be like the dads.
Yes.
Oldhim would be the kind of person who hears that you are moving and offers his help.
Yeah, he would be offended if you didn't ask him. Like he's like, why didn't you ask me to move? I am here. I have my truck. He also has a truck. But this is he's got like one with like the camper on the top of it.
Yes.
And like he'll be there and he'll be like helpful and he'll be like maybe not like he's not the life of the party or anything, but I think he's a very good person to ask for help. I think honestly if you get like Oldhim and Bravo, you're set. You're gonna get that job done. It's gonna be done well, and you're gonna be out there in like 30-40 minutes, right?
I think Oldhim also brings a lot of his sort of work buddies to help as well, which are just loads of other sort of older blokes.
They're old, but inexplicably like kind of ripped. Like they're old, but they still like lift and work out, or maybe they had a whole life of doing that, and so they're all still kind of like super strong. Yeah, and they they lift something that like just 2 of them lift something that would take like 4 people normally, like a really really heavy like armoire or something. It's just 2 of them. You're like, what? How are they doing this? Make it look so easy. And they also don't scratch any of your stuff. Like
no, they're extremely careful.
Yeah, they don't need to pivot because they already like they're just like, oh, just lift up that side. I'll move it down, and they just kind of like they just do it.
We were speaking about Bravo earlier, and Oldhim and his sort of U-Haul mates that turn up to sort of remove things are specialists in sort of refrigeration units and freezers and refrigerators. They just carry them on one arm and walk out. You know, even more so than Bravo.
I think Oldhim like also balances Bravo a little bit, where Bravo would like kind of put the stuff randomly into the truck and go back, and Oldhim is like, no, put it over there. And then Bravo's like, gotcha, and then he'll put it over there.
He's like, do this correctly.
Yeah. But he'll be nice about it though. He'll just be like, oh, just put it there, and then Bravo's like, oh, okay, of course.
I think that Olympia is a content creator that has a public beef with Betsy.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that he would be there, and he would be there only if Betsy was there, and then he would just like start making trouble. Just like trying to blame things that are going wrong on other people when in reality it's him. I think that Olympia is a troublemaker.
I think Olympia, because of that, I think Olympia is one of the last people you even ask. Like, you know, he's strong, you know he can do it, but you know he's a pain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more trouble than worth it, isn't it? You're like, oh yeah, he could do a pretty good job, but if you invite him, it's just going to cause ag with the rest of the people that are going.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's quite low down on the list as a result of that, despite the inherent strength.
He might like start talking shit, say snide remarks, and you're like, just unpleasant.
And that brings everyone else down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I get the feeling that Prism is very selfless and would help people out, but you almost to the point that you don't want to ask her because you know that you'd be putting her out. Like, she probably has something else planned for that day, but if you asked her, she would put it to the side. She'd be like, I can reschedule. I'm helping you out right now. And you'd be like, you don't have to. It's fine.
I think that's true. I'm trying to get a good vibe on Prism. Prism's hard to like narrow down because she's like very also like a book smart, learned person.
Yeah.
I think if you're her friend, you're probably like best friends, right? And I feel like you're best friends and you talk about like the latest movie that you saw and you go really in depth and talk about like the characters and the plot and motivations and like that kind of stuff. And as that, like she'll help you and she'll be like the first person you ask. But if you're not that person, I feel like I feel like Bill's right. You might feel a little put off by like asking her to help you.
It's like it's fine if you're busy, and she's like, no, I'm not busy. I only had 3 or 4 things that day. It's like, it's fine.
It's fine, Prism.
Yeah. She hears about it through somebody else and like reaches out, and it's like, it's okay. It's okay. You can do your thing. You can have your own life. The Professor Teklevasen, I think, is really funny because we could just ask the professor.
Would I ask the professor to help me move? He'd be too busy, to be honest.
He'd be way too busy.
Like I feel like Professor Teklevasen, similar situation. Too busy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's got too much stuff going on to the point where you probably not even ask him. Like, I'm just like
you could probably ask him, but you'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll send one of my drones over to do it. I can't be there, unfortunately. But I'll send. If you know him, if you've got he's obviously quite high up in the business, it's hard to contact him. But if you've got a line to Teklevasen, I think he might sort of spare one of his drones or some sort of robot that can be there on his behalf.
Agreed. You wouldn't even consider it unless he's like, like you wouldn't even consider it unless he was already really close, and even then, you'd be like, he's just gonna say no, or like he's just gonna send over a robot or something. Like you already know what he's gonna do. And
it's not because he's like, it's not because he's being rude about it or anything. He just is busy, and that's fine.
He's just too busy.
And he's like, I'll help you in the way that I can. Here's a robot.
If you ask Teklo, you're knowing that you're asking him, but you're never gonna get him physically. You'll get like an extension of him. You'll get a robot. You'll get a drone. And I think you always know the answer.
I think this is for both Professor Teklevasen and regular Teklevasen, by the way. I think this is
very much so.
Absolutely. Reinar and KO are a package deal. If you ask one of them, the other one shows up. and they cause trouble. So,
I feel like yes, I feel like that's true. I feel like Reinar is a little bit more stoic than like he just feels like more pent up like than KO, where KO's like, oh, I'm just doing this stuff and kind of inadvertently smashing things. And Reinar is a little bit more controlled, I feel.
But he still definitely does break things. I think he also tries to do things a little bit more efficiently by like he's basically like the guy like setting up before or after church or whatever, and he has the like 8 folding chairs underneath each arm.
Right.
He's like, I just want this to be done.
Yeah. He's also the type to just throw the stuff into the truck, right? You're loading into the truck, and he just kind of like stands at the end and just kind of throws it in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Riptide is in the same category as Cavdane. I would not invite him to help me move.
Right? Yeah.
No.
I do get those kind of vibes.
I'm sorry, Riptide.
He's like, is this guy a serial killer? Like, what's up with this guy? Like,
he just kind of seems like he'd be a downer.
You don't ask him because he probably doesn't have that many friends, to be honest. Like Cavdane, like you're not asking Cavdane because he's your friend, because he doesn't have any. And I think I think Riptide might be in a similar situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not sure if you would invite him to help you move because, again, like the smells and all this sorts of stuff. But if you had like a plumbing issue, if you had like a dirty job to sort of get someone behind, I reckon he'd be happy. I reckon he'd be happy to stick his hand down a toilet, sort of thing.
Yeah, he's the guy who's gonna like clean your gutter or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Riptide's a contractor. He's a tradesman.
Yeah. Plumbing and drainage.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. That's right.
This one can be pretty similar to the professor, but Rudy Gemkeeper, I don't think he would, and I wouldn't ask him.
He's not gonna help you. No.
He's not gonna help you.
You already know the answer to this. Like, he's not even like on the consideration list. You're like, you don't even think about asking him. No. Like,
no, he's just not there.
Yeah. Maybe if you're like his business partner, not even then, you wouldn't ask him. You wouldn't if your business partner. You still wouldn't ask him. So nope.
Yeah,
not even asking.
Yeah,
him.
You'd probably ask. You'd ask him like, who would you recommend me sort of employing or contracting to get this job done? And he'd have the contact.
He might know people. Yeah,
you would only people who would ask him are his children. Like if it was his son or daughter, it'd be like, Dad, help me move, and he would help. He would help them because he's their father, and that's like what he does. But like no one else would ask him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. And then like Shiana, I feel like Shiana and the Emperor are in the same sort of boat. I think they're too high up in their respective chains of command to be able to even say yes, to even respond to the question. I think she's too important.
Yep, I think she's like the opposite of Oldham. Oldham would be offended if you didn't ask him, and Shiana would be offended if you did ask her. She'd be like, why would you ask me to do this?
Yeah, very much so.
Absolutely. Squizzy and Floof are just Santa Claus. Probably would, but it would be really off-putting how quickly everything gets put into the new house.
Right, yeah.
Because it's just he just shoves everything into his magical sack.
Right, yeah.
Like, just feels strange.
Oh my god, how did that happen?
Squizzy and Floof is like you wishing the people helping you are much quicker than they are. Like wishing that you asked someone magical instead of KO and Reinar,
Yeah. Typanis would be the same sort of supervisor type dude. He would like show up and sort of try to tell people how things are supposed to be done. And just be like, who invited you?
I don't know why. I get like Christopher Lee vibes from Typanis. Maybe it's like the long beard thing. And I feel like Christopher Lee also would probably help you. He's like he seems like a nice enough dude, but also he would just be kind of commanding. Like he's not going to be the person to like be like, I got this couch. He's going to be like, we should probably get this couch. Hey, Bravo and Brevant, you two grab the couch, and he's that guy. Yeah,
he's coordinating things. Which is like fine.
I feel he might help some situations. He'll be like, hey, you come help me, kind of thing. But I agree.
Taylor absolutely would, and would bring you a housewarming present.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, and also at the same time going through all of your sort of clothes and stuff and saying, "Oh, do you want this? Do you want this?" You know,
Yeah.
similar sort of situation. You know, like trying to get a couple of things here and there that you might not use, or hand me downs, etc. So she can
Yeah.
tailor her own things.
I feel like she's
Fantastic.
like coming over with either like Dash or like maybe Dorinthia or something. Like they're all like
Mhm.
friends. They're all helping you out, part of the same friend group. And she's the one who
Yeah.
like gives you the housewarming gift. Yeah.
They're all very positive and yeah, just like good for morale, just pleasant and helpful. I think that's exactly what they would be.
And they show up like ready to move, like an appropriate like attire, and they're just like ready to go. Yeah.
I think my answer for Therion, Magister of Justice, is the same for Typanis. I think that she would be there and just sort of try to tell people what to do.
Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
know. Like I don't know. It's something about the adjudicator class just in general, but they feel very like commanding. Like you are doing this. So I think it's thematic. It's good for the adjudicator class that we get that vibe from all of them. I think
All of them,
Yeah.
because
yeah.
that does feel accurate. Uzuri would, but it would be a crapshoot on whether or not she brings Riptide with her.
Yeah.
So for Uzuri, I feel like she would definitely help you, but she's one of the characters that I think she would only help you if you're a good friend, right? And you probably wouldn't even ask her if otherwise, because like she's kind of scary, and you know she's going to be a little bit harsh, and if you like, yeah, you only ask her if you like, you know she's going to say yes, and that you know she's like your buddy. Otherwise, you're like, I'm not even asking her. Like,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Yeah, like that's the vibes that I get from Uzuri for sure. But you know she's probably gonna do a good job. Like she's gonna be a hard worker. She's gonna do a good job, and yeah. But good luck on being like one of her like two close friends, or that you ask. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Part of her like clique.
Yeah.
But also, this is like probably pretty much also a gimme. But I think Valda and Bravo would try to show each other up.
I think so.
Yeah.
But like in a very measured way of like, I'm being more helpful than you are, and being very like showy and public about that.
I agree with that. I think like they or they like show up together as like friends or whatever, and they're like the best people to invite over. It's like,
yes,
it's like you're like friends with this couple, and you know they're like amazing, and they're gonna be like they're gonna just do it and be awesome at it, you know, because they're like way stronger than you, and like they're just gonna be positive and just do it. Maybe they do have that competition while they're doing it, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think if we were to rate these as like people who are the best to help you move, I think that like Valda, Bravo, and Oldhim are like S tier.
Yeah, I think
that they're fantastic.
I
I was gonna say all guardians are pretty sick, but there's gonna be one guardian that's gonna appear that's gonna tell you to do one.
Yeah.
I think it depends. I think it depends on like who you are and like your vibes. Well, I don't know why I'm building like this headcanon, but I do think like if you're like in the band with Max and Chain, like they're the guys you ask because they're the only guys that you are gonna ask. Like you're not gonna you're literally not even gonna consider anyone else. Like they're your dudes. Doesn't matter if they suck or not. You're asking your buddies.
I do not think that Victor would even acknowledge your existence.
Absolutely not.
I think he's like worse than the Emperor. I think
yes.
I think Victor thinks more highly of himself than the Emperor of Volcor thinks of himself. I think that's everything.
I think that he's so self-important that he just like doesn't even deign to acknowledge you. Like he's the type of person where you say hi to him like as you're passing in the hallway, and he like actively looks away from you.
Or doesn't even like acknowledge your existence at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't even eyes shift. Keeps moving. Doesn't care.
Yeah. I don't think Victor would do anything that wasn't his idea.
Victor is the kind. So if Rudy would only help his children, Victor would not even help his children. Like,
No.
like his son is like not asking him. There's like,
Yeah.
no, like it's not happening.
Headcanon, Bravo drives an F-350 and Victor is estranged from his children.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and Victor is like, I don't know, going through a midlife crisis, and he spent a bunch of money on like a Ferrari or a Bugatti or something, and he can afford it for sure. But did he really need like the sixth Bugatti? Probably not.
Yeah,
Probably
absolutely not.
Yeah.
The last Runeblade heroes, Viserai, I think would, but he's the type of person where he's just like very intense about it. I think Viserai and Chain are sort of like a package deal.
I'm like, Viserai's also in this band, man. Like he's in the band with Max and with Chain, and he's also kind of like more on the chiller side, maybe not as chill as Chain is, but he's gonna be there, and he's gonna not be the kind of person to offer to help while he's there until someone tells him what to do, unless it's not going fast enough, and he'll just be like, all right, I'll just move this then. Like, otherwise you're just like, okay, Viserai, you go do this. Like he'll be good if he gets like direction. Otherwise he's just gonna stand there.
Yeah. Pairs well with Typanis.
Yeah, except he doesn't like Typanis at all.
Yeah,
But still, just one of those people that's, you know, it is there because obviously he's there with friends or whatever. He just needs a bit of direction. Otherwise, he's just going to stand there and do nothing. He's just going to generate rune chants the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
like, he's going to stand there, and you got to be like, hey, Viserai, how about you go grab this while, Max and I go do this? And he's like, okay. And he'll do it.
All right,
like,
fine.
Sure.
Not super enthusiastic, but he'll do it. And he's there because, he's your buddy. He's there because he plays... He plays like lead guitar. I was gonna say bass is I feel like I was gonna say bass for Chain and then drums for Max, but we could swap it up a little bit. Max is definitely on drums, by the way.
Max is absolutely on drums for sure. Vincent, I don't think would help you either young or adult for two different reasons.
Okay.
Young, I think that she's just too busy doing her own thing. I think that she feels like the type of person that goes to church every single day, like just always has something going on. Like just you can't get a hold of her, whatever. Adult, she's immobile. So
I was gonna say she can't even move her arms.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it couldn't help you even if she wanted to.
I don't even think you're asking her. Like I don't think Vincent is like don't ask tier because even if she said yes, it would be awful.
Well, it's just standing there in the Iron Maiden. There's nothing she can really do.
Yeah.
If anything, you have to move her because obviously she's there in the Iron Maiden, and that defeats the whole purpose of this podcast.
Just create some more work.
She's one of the things you need to move out of your place. Like you're asking Bravo to get her out of there. Yeah.
Next one of these lists is going to be which of these heroes would help you move Vincent.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, we have only three more. Yoji, I think fits within the rest of the Guardians except for Victor.
Yeah.
I think that he would be very helpful, and like with his hero ability taken into account, I think that he would be selfless to a fault. Like he would do so much that he'd like hurt himself, like he'd twist his ankle trying to move like a dresser down the stairs or something and then keep going and be like, it's fine, don't worry about it.
I think
absolutely.
I think you're onto something there. I think he'd be so helpful that it might end up being not helpful, where like you're trying to do something already and he's like, no, let me do that for you, I got it. And you're like, no, dude, go do your other thing, I'm already doing this, dude, you're wasting time.
Like, I got it, it's fine. And he's like, no, I got it, it's okay. And he just ends up being like in the way.
He's like, but it looks heavy, I know I can do it.
But I reckon he's also sort of, he's helping you during the day-to-day move or whatever. But I think during the day, he's also asking like, well, when's the food coming?
That was the first thing he asked.
Yeah. Is there going to be food involved? And he keeps asking throughout the day. Right, has food been ordered? Is the pizza on their way? Is the burritos coming?
It's on the way.
But I think at the end of the day, I think Yoji would be like good and helpful, and you'd be happy to have him there. And you're like, he'll also be one of the dudes that you have like the beer out, and he'll grab a beer while while doing it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Yorick is unavailable to help you move because he's on a date.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that that's like he's too busy charming somebody up, you know?
Swooning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah. Yorick's probably not helping you move unless you're his roommate. I feel like.
Yeah. And even then, he's brought his guitar, and he's like, "Oh, somebody brought a guitar."
Yeah, it's just that guy that there's always that one guy that turns up with an acoustic. You're like, oh, for God's sake, here we go.
He's the guy. Yeah, he's the guy who's there. He's your roommate, and then you invited the rest of your band, like Max and Viscerai and Chain, and then he starts talking to Viscerai about music, and they just go talk about music the whole time and don't help at all. That's what they're doing, and you're like, come on, Viscerai was helping. Now he's just like talking about like some indie, dark wave band. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, Viscerai, can you get back to the thing? Like,
Can you keep yourself on track, please?
Yeah.
But actually, that leads really well into the last one, Zen. For those of you who don't remember, his tag is Tamer of Purpose.
Yeah.
I think that he would be good at keeping people on track.
Yeah.
I think that he would serve sort of a more like an easier to digest Typanus, where he's like sort of giving advice to people on like how to move something correctly or like where something should go. Like I think that he cares a lot about like efficiency, but also has like a really gentle hand about it.
Yeah, so
Agreed.
he's always like, if something's happening, he's actually there to not only explain it, but also support in those areas, etc. And get something around a corner, and also lead the charge on what's going on.
Exactly, he's leading the charge. I think Zen might be one of the best people because not only is he super helpful in directing everything and just being like a even steady hand, but he's also doing it him as well and being really good and efficient at it because he's strong enough to do. So he's like leading the charge and also like directing people, and he's like one of the best people, I think. Yeah, I think if you get like him, Oldham, Bravo, and like Valda, like you're moving in 20 minutes, man. Like that's gonna be like the best crew.
Honestly, like also even like with if your move is big enough and you need more people, I feel like the next up like best people to have in terms of like getting it done and getting it done right and carefully is probably like the Dash Dorinthia
do-gooders.
They're like very, very helpful. Like Prism, I think that they would be really good to help out for even just like setting up the house to be like, oh, this is like you should put your couch over here, or like instead of them being the ones moving the heavy things, they're like helping out to make your house feel like a home.
Interior design input almost.
I think they'd be really good at like unloading the truck too, because they already know where all the stuff goes. They're like, this goes in the living room, of course.
Dorinthia would be really good.
Yeah.
Dorinthia would be really good at unloading the truck, I think.
Yeah, and I think it depends on who you are for a lot of these situations. Like I said, I have this weird band headcanon where like if you're in that band, they're the only people you're asking and you're not even considering anyone else because they're like your guys, right? Like you would never even think about anyone else, right?
Yeah, and then you've also got the sort of the people on the fringes that, if you're a good friend, like Azalea, for instance, she's going to be there to help you, but might not necessarily be someone else's go-to. You got your close ones, etc. So, I think all in all, a pretty good little list of people.
We spent like twice the time. We spent an hour on this, which we meant to spend like a half hour, but
well.
God damn it! We're supposed to be keeping these brief. I'm going to need to go for a toilet break after this before we do the third one. By the way,
that's all right. But anyway, we'll wrap that up there then. We'll skip the Arsenal step once again, but that was really fun. Thanks for the chat, guys.
Yeah, it was good.
I think that we hit some pretty decent appraisals of the heroes and how they would help, and sort of which ones would be the best to have on your team for your roster for moving. But anyway. I've been Bill from the Spike Feeders. Thank you so much for listening. Joining me as always, we have Kel.
Yep, I'm Kel. You can find me at Red Zone Rogue everywhere and all of that good stuff. We also have Az.
Yep, Go Again Gaming, Go Again Gaming AZ on socials. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you at home for listening to our madness as we descended the full list. But I hope you had as much fun as we did. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
See you for another short, not short episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh.
Yeah.